Greetings dear watchers, I welcome you to my channel with ARK News 376. The new ARK creature for the center is Shastasaurus, a giant marine reptile leviathan with submarine saddle. We will look into that in a second. An official server saves will be provided on Wednesday, August the 3rd. You can get your official server files next week and use Nitrado servers as a host, or you can play them in your own PC as a single player. And a new season for Classic PvP will launch in 2 days, 28th of August. You can quickly take a look at Classic PvP details here. Also, the usual weekend EVO event just got activated. Now, let's see Shastasaurus, the giant marine reptile. This new creature is pretty much looks like a mosa, but it's bigger. The Shastasaurus is one of the largest ocean dwellers I have ever witnessed on any of the arcs, rivaling the lead cities in terms of sheer mass and being too large for even the mighty Tuso to grab a hold of it. However, despite its titanic size, it's incredibly passive, mostly ignoring all other creatures in its vicinity, as very few are a threat to it, with it only really focusing on smaller schools of fish which it feeds on. If a threat does arrive through such as a group of Mosasaurus or a lead, it has the special ability of echolocation and is able to detect the threat coming from a mile away. Not just that, but its echolocation is so powerful that it can charge a large sonic blast, with it being able to disorient nearly any hostile, allowing the creature to make a quick getaway. It sounds like it can stun you and then runs away. Also, much like its close relative, the Ichthyosaurus, it's very social animal living in a tight family unit. However, due to the sheer size of the Shasta's appetite, each member requires an enormous quantity of food, and as a result, the family units must separate to try and find food on their own to avoid competing for food sources. Sadly, due to the family units splitting up to feed, many Shastas will never reunite with them and will become incredibly isolated as a result. So their domesticated behavior, as most Shastas have become isolated and alone due to separating from their families, all it requires to domesticate one is simple companionship. The best way I have found to do this is with its close relative, the Ichthys. Simply bring a group of them over and the two species will begin to interact with the Shastas, eventually joining the group and therefore your tribe. Once tamed, the Shastasaurus makes for an incredible beast of burden, able to carry an insane amount of weight. Due to this, a lot of survivors have constructed a special saddle on the back of the creature. This saddle is essentially a submarine, as anyone inside is able to breathe and survive the intense pressure of the ocean. The saddle also comes equipped with torpedoes that are essential for any underwater combat, as they deal heavy explosive damage. And that's not even the best part of the saddle. When the Shasta surfaces above the water, the saddle will transform and eventually turn Shastas into a whaling ship, coming equipped with harpoon launchers. These harpoons come equipped with metal wiring that is attached to each harpoon. Once fired at a creature, it prevents them from moving, allowing survivors to easily catch the creatures. Now, this ability sounds a little bit OP. It's super easy to tame. You can get one of these in day one. Just tame some Ichthys and use them to passively tame these creatures, and they allow you to live underwater with its saddle. Unless its saddle requires to kill a boss, you can actually get this day one. And when underwater, saddles acts as a submarine. Survivors will not lose oxygen and will be able to build in it, so that That means you can put a generator, you can put a camp bench, you can put a fabricator and actually use it as a proper base. And saddles fire torpedoes, and that is also sounds like a platform saddle turrets, and they will deal heavy explosive damage, and these can only be crafted in the inventory of the Shasta, similar to Aqueous. It sounds like a super cool underwater creature, but I don't think ARK underwater is good enough to support a giant marine reptile leviathan like this. If its saddle is not tech and it can be crafted at low levels, this creature has huge potential. We just need a really rich underwater map so we can enjoy this. Otherwise, I don't see a great potential for this creature with the current ARK maps. Most maps doesn't have huge waters, and if they do, like underwater Valguero, there isn't much to do there. So I think this creature deserves its own map, with most of it covered with water and underwater life with many caves. Alright, that's it for this week's ARK news. Thank you for watching, dear watchers.